What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great weekend, great Saturday night. But we're here to talk about a little bit of birds. Now, was live earlier. We talked about the Will Greer signing, so go check that bad boy out. But we are not live here. Wanted to put this show out, been trying all damn week, but we finally got a little free space here. Going to put this out just so a little update on the cap space, but also you get to see who the new cap hits are, what their cap hits are, and who is still unavailable, the 8 players that we're going to talk about, and then the potential cap that we can save. So without further ado, let's jump right into this. Appreciate each and every one of you taking the time, hitting that like button, subscribing. All your questions and comments, cannot thank you enough. But we're going to jump right into this bad boy. And in case you missed any of these shows I've been putting out, let's take a look at some of the things that we have found out. So the cap hits we need to know are all the new players, some of the restructures, all that stuff that's going down. Trying my best to keep you up to date with all of that stuff as soon as that information comes out. But there are still a bunch of players that are unaccounted for here. So talking about Paris Campbell, we just signed Greer, but you got Burks, Gardner Johnson, Hall, Mustafer, White, Lovato, and at the moment that I'm recording this, those are unavailable. But there have been some other numbers for a couple of these guys we've talked about with Devin White and what they could be. But once they come out, once it's set in stone, I will let you know about all of that. But with those numbers that we do have, it gives us somewhat of an idea of where we are with the cap space, right? So if you were to look it up right now, it would look like $33,657,986 in cap space. So that would, that'd be a lot of money to have. But we talk about those, 7, 8 players now that we need to account for. And I think for me, obviously, we've talked about, you offset those. You're just taking away the people that, are at the bottom. The bottom 8 will be replaced with these 8 if, they're higher than those numbers. So when you're looking at it, the Eagles are it's only going to cost them a few more million. So you're still going to have around $30 million in cap space when all is said and done with the restructures and extensions, everything hitting the books. You're still going to have possibly over $30 million. So yeah, Howie is still cooking. He's in the kitchen. Do not fear. We can still add, trade for anybody you're going to ask about. We've talked about a lot of these guys, but they can do whatever they please. They've got the money to do it. So let's take a look, though. If they were to try to, extend Devontae Smith, Milton Williams, all these things that we talk about coming up, what would happen? And, would we need more money? Will we need less money? Would we make money? What would happen? So all these things, I try to talk about at the beginning of the offseason. We already talked about this, had 15 ways. A lot of those things already happened. Some of the money has changed after certain dates. So want to show you the updates on all that stuff and talk about, well, the 8 ways the Eagles can save some cap space. And as it goes from the bottom to the top, it's how much money you save on each. So let's take a gander here. At right off the bat, Terrell Lewis. Look, we just added him. Somebody that can add some depth as an off-ball linebacker, but helps you as an edge, more so an edge. But you can see he's got a minimum contract. The reason I wanted to add these guys as well, at first, when I was making this, I had a completely different idea of what I was going to do. But guys like Terrell Lewis and Patrick Johnson at 8 and 7, you see their money. You can do whatever you want. You can cut them, trade them. Their cap hit is essentially what it is. But what you're doing there when you get rid of someone like that, you're cutting them. You're just replacing them with someone else. And they're literally probably almost $1 million, that person. So you're really not saving that much when you look at guys like that. But I wanted to include them because people always talk about, you can save $1 million here. Honestly, you're saving a couple 100,000, if that, once you're just replacing someone else with where, the top 51. So wanted to include those. And then at number 6, you look at all of these things. And I'm sorry, I should explain this in case you've never seen this, but you can see their age, cap hit, years remaining. But the 4 dots you see here, restructure, extend, cut, or trade. Those are the 4 ways, 4 moves we can make. If you restructure, well, you can't with this 1-year deal here, but you can extend him, save yourself $60,000 there, but you could cut him and you would take more dead money than you would cap saving, but not a big deal either way. But if he were to have an okay offseason, but you went out and drafted a tight end, you added another one, and you feel like you could move on from him, maybe you could find a trade partner for him. So at number 6, you've got Albert O here, $1.175 million you could save, whether that be pre or post June 1st. But the top 5, these are the moves you're really looking for here. And look, number 5, Milton Williams. Talked about this final year of his contract here. He's got a cap hit of $3.38 million. And look, what I'm talking about is not cutting him, not trading him. And yeah, you could save more money that way, but I'm looking to extend him. You've got Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis for the future, but I think he is going to be a pivotal piece here without Fletcher Cox. So I would lock him up now, and you save yourself $1.648 million in cap space. So extend me some Milton Williams. And speaking of extensions, Devontae Smith. So we're staying patient, waiting for the young man to get his new deal. He's got a $6.4 million cap hit right now. But if you were to extend him, yes, you would be giving him more money. It would cost more in further years, but you're locking him up and you're saving a little cap space this year. So, you're looking at right here, 4.6 then? So I'm all about it, man. I think that this team, they're going to continue to do those things. The offseason just started, not even 2 weeks ago. And, people getting impatient. Hey, look, we've made a lot of moves. Howie is busy. So when he gets to it, I promise you, we'll all be very excited. Now at number 3, Dallas Goedert, baby. And look, $9.13 million cap hit. And, I'm not cutting or trading Dallas Goedert. Even if you add one in the draft, I'm keeping him around. But he's got a couple years left, got some dummy years on his contract. But I think that you don't have to extend him if you want to see if he stays healthy, if whatever. He is 29, but you could restructure that contract right there and obviously have yourself about 6.9 million. So you could bring that cap hit down if that's something he would be willing to do, get a little more guaranteed money. So they have to be willing to do that. But if you wanted to extend him, you also would save the same amount of money. Now, at number 2, I know this is the guy you're waiting to hear about, but James Bradbury here, 31 years old, $4.3 million cap hit. And you can see how his money has changed here. And you could see that you would lose money. We talked about cutting him. No matter what, you're going to lose money. So if you do it pre-June 1st, you're losing 10.8 on the cap this year, 6.1 if you do it post-June 1st. That's all negative money. The green is the money you save here. So restructure or extend, you're really not saving money. But if you are able to trade him post June 1st, you could actually save yourself 2.7 mil, take on a little bit of dead money, but maybe you get something in return, a lower end draft pick. If your plan is to move on with Darius Slay, Isaiah Rodgers, Zach McPherson, Kaylee Ringo, Eli Ricks, with, obviously CJ Gardner-Johnson, Sidney Brown, guys like that, capable of helping out in nickel situations, big nickel, dime, things like that. Obviously, Sidney Brown has to get healthy, but we've got a lot of pieces here. So we'll see if the Eagles want to do something like that, but they could trade him and save some money. And I know you guys wanted to hear that name. So you could save yourself a little there. Now, number 1, I know this is the name you're all waiting for here, and that's Hassan Reddick. And look, I've been talking about this for a year. Coming into the final year of his contract, expect us to draft someone. Boom, we did. Nolan Smith. Expect this year to hear about how we're trading him and Sweat, and we've already done that. So look, you don't have to trade him, but you gauge the market. You find out, okay, what are teams willing to give up for him? And if it's something of a very nice, return, maybe you take it, because then you don't have to pay a 30-year-old edge guy. You already have Huff that you signed, and that's just part of the thinking. But hey, maybe you can convince him, hey, stick around one more year. We'll see how it goes. Then we'll go from there. You don't have to extend him. I see a lot of people talk about that. I wouldn't be against it. Let him end his career here. You guys heard me in the free agency show. I talked about Bryce Huff as my number 1 target, and that was with Reddick and Sweat. I want them both here. I want that rotation. I want to eat souls. I want to be breaking that sack record. So I would keep him around. But you can see he's got a $21.8 million cap hit. Holy hell. So now if you trade him or cut him post June 1st, that would be obviously the way you would save some money on the cap. But I don't think you want to just cut someone like that. Now, if you're going to trade him, obviously post June 1st would be much more of an understanding why you would do that, because only getting 1.3 while you take on 20 mil in dead money, no thanks. And 16 mil where you have that 5.8 mil that you can in dead money that you prorate over 2 years, So to me, I would try to restructure him for this year. Like, look, man, let's go win this Super Bowl hometown, and then we'll figure it out next year. restructuring him saves 11 million there. So his cap hit's down to just under 11 mil, 10 point whatever. So, man, I would definitely try to do that if I were the Eagles. But again, you got to gauge the market here, guys, on the final year of their contract. See what other teams look. We'll trade you this. And then what are they willing to pay him? Would you pay him that? So why not keep him? A lot goes into it. So that's just the business side of things. And that's just how things are going to go. But like the media tried with, they have to get rid of Sweat and Reddick. Sweat's here, man. He got restructured. So let's hope the same for Hassan Reddick. Let's keep him here for another year. Huff and Nolan Smith as the future. Brandon Graham is still here to be the mentor of all of them. But that would be the most deep group, the deepest in the NFL. And I think, we could definitely break that sack record. So I'd be all about it. But let's recap all those moves I just showed you here. Talk about the money. And these were the top things that I would do. So you restructure Hassan, trade Bradbury, restructure Goddard, extend Devontae and Milton, try to trade Alberto. And again, cutting those guys like Terrell Lewis, Patrick Johnson, that's not really saving you the $2 million there. You're probably only really saving about $1 million. So you take that mill, you save another mill, you save another. So you're at like 3, 4-ish there. You look here with Devontae, you're about 6 mil. And then we'll just say around 8 mil with Dallas Goedert there. And then you look at Bradbury, that's about 10.5. So we're around 11. And then Hassan Reddick, you add all that. So if you added those numbers, 22.94. But really, what you're saving on the cap would be around, 22 million. But again, the Eagles aren't going to do all of this stuff. But I mean, they could if they wanted to save money, and hey, trade for somebody, lock people up, for the future, whatever it is. There are ways to make money here. And I think that the Eagles obviously, don't need to do a lot of these things, but just the fact that you can have almost like $50 million in cap space here, dude, that's a lot to do whatever you want. And you'll hear somebody, well, you got to have money for the draft picks. Well, guess what? Those draft picks, only about 3, maybe 4 of them will actually affect the cap. And when they do, you're just replacing them with the 3 or maybe 4 players at the bottom of the 51 that affect the cap. So it really doesn't cost you that much, maybe 5 mil if that. So it depends. Once I get those numbers, I'll give them to you. But have no fear, man. I'm here, and we definitely have Howie here. So we know we're in good hands. I will keep you up to date with everything that is going on. But hopefully you found this useful. If you did get something from this show, do me a favor, hit that like button. You can always subscribe down below. But I hope you're having a great Saturday. I'll be back tomorrow. Got a little show planned, but just tune in. And I might do one where I drop it and then have a sickos. Well, again, just stay tuned and I will let you know what's going down. But I hope to see you tomorrow. Hope you're all having a great day. You need anything, please feel free to reach out. You have any questions, comments, leave them down below. But until next time, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You all have a great weekend. Stay safe out there. And as always, say it with me now, Go Birds!